From Mencari Newsroom at redmencari.com.
Hello everyone and welcome to today's rundown. It's May 2nd. I'm Vico Santos. Here's are the top stories. With just 48 hours until polling day, Prime Minister Anthony Albanese and opposition leader Peter Dutton are making their final campaigns push across the country. Speaking at Winthrop Primary School in Western Australia today, Prime Minister Albanese emphasized the government education investments.
Well, we're now 48 hours away from polling day, and there's a clear choice at this election between Labor supporting and building Australia's future, investing in our people, investing in our infrastructure, investing in our future, or a coalition of cuts and chaos. That's what's at stake between now and Saturday. And can I say that here at this school, I want to thank the boys and girls.
The Prime Minister highlighted his government achievement in education, childcare, and aged care, framing the election as a choice between the Labor supporting and building Australia's future versus what he called a coalition of cuts and chaos. Meanwhile, opposition leader Peter Dutton, speaking from his marginal seat of Dixon in Brisbane, focused on cost of living pressures. Mr. Dutton characterized the election as a referendum on the past 3 years of Labor government, repeatedly asking voters if they were better off today than 3 years ago.
A lot of families who are really doing it tough, a lot of small businesses who have closed over the last 3 years, and this election really is a referendum not about the election campaign but about the last 3 years of government. Are you better off today than you were 3 years ago? And what will it be like under 3 more years, particularly if it's a Labor Greens government, where extra spending will mean extra inflation, which means higher prices, including higher interest rates. On the alternative side, the Coalition has a positive plan to help Australians. We want to cut the cost of everybody's fuel bill by 25 cents a litre, and that's going to save you about $14 a tank. We're going to give back $1,200 by way of tax rebate to an average taxpayer.
The coalition has today released its election costing, with Shadow Treasurer Angus Taylor claiming a $14 billion improvement to the budget bottom line over 4 years. Mr. Taylor's announcement that coalition will deliver a $40 billion reduction of debt while still implementing their promised tax cuts and cost of living relief measures.
There's a $14 billion improvement in the budget position over the course of the 4 years, the forwards as they're called, a $40 billion reduction in debt. And what we're seeking to do here is balance household budgets that have been absolutely smashed under a bad Labor government, where we've seen homegrown inflation, the biggest reduction in our standard of living in history, more than any other peer country, balancing the need to fix household budgets and support households through a tough time, with fixing the government budget, which has been red ink deficits as far as the eye can see.
However, the costing revealed the coalition will run larger deficit than Labor's in the first 2 years before achieving improvement in the later years. Finance Minister Katie Gallagher immediately criticized the figures.
But I think today has confirmed what we all knew, which is we'll see higher taxes under the Liberals, savage cuts, and there's a lot of holes in their document that they've released this afternoon, including on nuclear, but also in the areas of APS and significant cuts to housing, skills and energy. And I think that's a real contrast between the responsible costings that Jim and I, the Treasurer and I, put out on Monday.
A key point of connection remains that coalition nuclear energy plan, with the costing allocating $400 million over 4 years and $36 billion in medium term, substantially less than Labor projected costs. The coalition plan cuts 41,000 public service jobs over 5 years has emerged as a major election issue, with the new details revealed in today's costing release. Shadow Finance Minister Jane Hummon clarified that the reduction will be achieved through hiring freeze and natural attrition, contradicting earlier statement from campaign spokesman James Patterson that voluntary redundancy will be part of the approach.
So we've said that, and we've worked very closely with the PBO on this, and our advice is that natural attrition, a hiring freeze and natural attrition, will allow us to reach 41,000 in reduction in ASL over 5 years. Now, that's, I think, the most important thing. We're not expecting voluntary redundancies, and natural attrition and hiring freeze should get us there.
The cuts primarily targeted a Canberra-based position are projected to save approximately $17 billion. The government has questioned the feasibility of these numbers, with Treasurer Jim Chalmers claiming the coalition has got their numbers wrong on their job cuts in the Australian public service. Labor argued that cuts will damage essential services, while the coalition maintains frontline and national security position will be protected. The economic impact of migration policy has featured prominently in today's budget discussion, with the coalition plan to reduce net overseas migration by 100,000 people annually, estimated to cost $4.2 billion. Shadow Treasurer Angus Taylor defended the approach, arguing that Labour current migration levers are putting pressure on housing and infrastructures.
Well, the permanent migration number is in there at about $4.2 billion. And let's be clear about this. It's very important. What you've seen under Labor is an attempt to grow the economy through population growth, not through productivity growth, but through population growth. And so what we've seen is 21 months in a row, 7 consecutive quarters of GDP per capita going backwards. This is Australians going backwards. If GDP per capita is going backwards, our prosperity is going backwards. It's no wonder then we've seen a near 8% reduction in Australians' living standards.
The coalition migration cuts would targeted permanent migration, international students, and humanitarian visas, with Mr. Taylor claiming that reduction would help address housing affordability and improve living standards. Labor maintains that skilled migration is critical for addressing worker shortage and driving economic growth, with Finance Minister Katy Gallagher questioning the coalition productivity target, giving their proposed cut to education and skills funding. That's all for today. For more details on those stories and additional news coverage, visit our website at readmencari.com. I'm Miko Santos. Thank you for listening.
Subscribe to Mencari for news with authentic Gen X perspective. Cutting through the noise with zero fluff. Available now across all podcast platforms. News without the noise, perspective without the panic.